Dre, I have a question about the Kevin teams. Do you feel like, in retrospect, obviously you got past them, but you feel like the Rockets snuck up on you guys a little bit? Because we talked about it with Chris last time he came on about when he got hurt. But they matched up with you so well, and it's not
they thought,
but it's not clear that anybody else gave them any chance going into those series.
I don't think there was another team in the NBA that could have beaten them. Now, in saying that, you still have to beat LeBron James, which is a very tall task to do. LeBron will walk the ball up the floor every play before he lets you determine the games on your terms. However, I don't think there was any other team that could have beaten that Rockets team. As far as them sneaking up on us, I can't quite say they snuck up because they were playing so well throughout the regular season that you knew they had to be reckoned with, and we had some great games with them in the regular season. But I will tell you where they made their biggest mistake. Where they made their biggest mistake was Daryl Morey coming out and saying, this team is built to beat the Warriors. Like, we built this team specifically to beat the Warriors. What I would say is, Daryl Morey, real G's move in silence. They just kind of do what they do, and they move in silence, Daryl. So if you take any advice from this interview, Daryl, that was their biggest mistake. They come out like, this team is built to beat the Warriors. So for the rest of the year, we like, all right, we'll get there. We'll get to that game, and then we're going to beat them. They're not going to beat us. We don't think they can beat us. Why didn't we think they can beat us? We felt in our game plan, James Harden, and if you go watch them games, they were up 15-20 each game. But our game plan was to let James Harden do everything that he's going to do. We're probably not going to stop him, and that's fine. But we're going to stop everyone else. And then James is going to get tired because he's dribbling the ball 32 times per possession. I don't care how good a shape you're in. I don't care who you are. That is taxing. So our game plan was let James do his thing. Even if we get down 15 points, we'll be fine. Just got to stay the course, and we'll come back and win. And every game, they were up. Every game that we won, they were up 15 to 20 points. And we came back and walked them down. Most of the time, we would walk them down by halftime. But every game, they would get up. And so we knew going into those games, like, they couldn't beat us. And everybody made a big deal out of Chris getting injured. Like, oh, if Chris didn't get injured, they were about to beat the Warriors. You can make that argument, and that's all fine and dandy. Until you come back the next year and Kevin's injured, and you're up 3-2. They were up 3-2. If I'm not mistaken, no matter of fact, they were up 2-1.
Yeah.
They were up 2-1 when Kevin got hurt. Golden opportunity now. Kevin's hurt is even, right? Like, y'all lost Chris last year. We lost Kevin this year. All right, here's your chance. They lost. And they lost Game 7 at home. So everything that you needed for this to go your way, you had going for you. It still didn't work. So did they sneak up on us? I guess they were trying until Daryl Morey made it obvious that, hey, we want them. All right, buddy, we want y'all too. Come on, we're getting y'all out of here.
When we started this podcast an hour and 30 minutes ago, I was not expecting Daryl Morey shade. I just did not.
There's no shade. It's advice more than shade.
I just a couple comments on what you said, and then I have one last question. And I think you have to give the Rockets some credit because it felt like during those Kevin Durant Warrior years, especially those first two, the rest of the league, non-LeBron teams, of course, the rest of the league was kind of out of it.
Yeah.
Nobody was actually going for it. Mm-hmm. And you know when a team is holding on to assets and when a team is putting all their chips on the table and is going for it. And so Daryl Morey was probably, and the Rockets were probably the only team, minus the Cavs, of course, that really went for it. The other thing about the Rockets, and Chris talked about this the last time he was on the show, was their switching defense that they played throughout the year. The only reason they played that defense was because they knew to beat you guys, that's how they had to play. Mm-hmm. So they wanted to master switching defense, which I Again, I can appreciate that. That's a chess match. That's a boss move right there. We're going to play one way to beat the Warriors.